All right, guys, let's talk how the deadline is looking so far. A couple things. Number one, yes, that's Trae Young in the thumbnail. I know he wasn't technically dealt at the deadline, but I mean, why not? He's played. Let's talk about it. Harden already got his own video, and there's a sponsor. Let's start with Garland and the Clippers. 2 games above 500. Yeah, they lost to the Kings last night, but in general, vibes are good. The Ty Lue 35-20 vision is very real. So, the most encouraging thing if you were a Clippers fan is that Garland is creating space. In the Wolves game, he's got a few plays of getting by Ant or Dante or Randall or looking shifty on a Gobert switch, similar on some switches versus Cat in the Knicks game. The Knicks game, like OG was able to hold up well on him for a couple possessions, but there was also one time where he was able to get the angle on OG going baseline. He crossed up McHale one time, had a nice slip screen for Kawhi. Again, he's looking more shifty. His threes have been better than his twos, but also last night against Sacramento, like he missed 2 or 3 layups that were very makeable. Like he created space before getting there. The pace has been a little higher. With Garland, they've got like a 103 pace, and with Harden, it was like 97. I think he's been everything you've wanted to see so far as a Clipper fan. We can stick with the Clippers. We can go to Mathurin now. He's been cooking a lot the last few. But the thing that made me intrigued about Mathurin all the way back when talking about him as a rookie was the foul drawing. And a lot of the time, it's just hard drives. I mean, they're sprinkling in some like plays of him catching it after a down screen, and you know I always like that. But, I mean, whether it's Dante or Nas or Slow-Mo or Bones, it feels like Mathurin just says to himself, I'm going in a straight line to the basket, and I don't care that you're in front of me. I mean, it was happening to Diawara in the Knicks game. Assist to turnover is basically neutral. That's to be expected with him. His threes have also been weirdly bad with the Clippers. I'm not expecting that to hold up. With these two and with Kawhi continuing to go scorched earth, there's a fun energy with the Clippers right now. Okay, next let's go to Trae Young. Again, I know Trae was not really dealt at the deadline, but whatever. This is the opportunity to talk about it. So the loss to the Celtics dragged this down, but for the first 3 games, the Wizards' offensive rating when Trae was on the court was 114, which is an average offense, which is way better than the 27th ranked offense they have for the season. Now, the defense is still bad with him, but it was bad before he got there. If AD is healthy next year, him and Sarr, we know what that can be. What I have liked the most is the plays where they have Sarr, Trae Young, and Trey Johnson all doing something at the same time, forcing the defense to care about all 3 guys, where it'll be like, typically, Sarr screens for Trae Young, and then Trey Johnson relocates or runs through like right before the screen hits. This created a super wide open 3 for Trey Johnson at the top of the key in the Pelicans game. Trey Johnson's had a rough couple of games here, though. Like, he's a rookie. The hope is that they're a real team next season. We've already had some Trey to Sarr lobs. And then you just got routine stuff of Trey, like hitting Trey Johnson for a trailing 3. Simple screen actions that become like a Bub 3 or a Will Riley corner 3 or some pocket passes to my GOAT, Anthony Gill. It's cool. He has taken some tough threes so far. All sample, the rest of the season doesn't matter, I know. Would be nice to see it with Keyshawn, but I don't know if he's going to play the rest of the year. Now let's talk Jaren for a little bit. I know he only played 3 games, but we did get to see some stuff. I'm not going to talk too much about the defense. I'll just say I'm excited for when it's him and Walker Kessler together next year after they give Kessler this new contract. Offensively, I think you could just see it in his first few baskets against the Magic in his first game, just everything the Jazz envisioned for him, like empty side screening for Ace Bailey, cutting to the basket as Nurkic has the ball at the top of the key, using a down screen from Ace Bailey to get downhill. That one's interesting because if you freak out the defense enough, then Bailey could pop and he'll be open for a 3 or for him to drive. They had Nurkic screen for him. You know, all the stuff you'd expect Will Hardy to have with Jaren. Next, let's go to Kuminga with the surging Hawks. My goodness. I mean, the Magic, the 83-point Bam Heat. Obviously, everybody's scared of the Hornets at the top of the East. Like, something's going on here. But before we get back to it, this video is sponsored by SeatGeek. So as I'm doing this, the Celtics are playing the Thunder, and the Celtics keep getting steals in the second quarter, and Jordan Walsh made 2 threes. Jordan Walsh quietly at 40% from 3 this year. The volume's not very high, but regardless, he's a player I care about, and so that's a good thing to see. Anyway, if I wanted to go to a Celtics game or any NBA game that may or may not feature Jordan Walsh, or any sporting event, concert, festival, a whole bunch of things, then I would use SeatGeek as I have before, and it's always been good. With over 28 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app, and there's over 70,000 events listed on SeatGeek. And you can use my code FunkyDiabetic10 for 10% off your next order. SeatGeek rates deals on a scale of 1 to 10, so you know you're getting a good deal. Just look for the green dots. Green means good, red means bad. Every ticket is backed by their buyer guarantee. Make sure to click the link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your account. One more time, FunkyDiabetic10, 10% off, SeatGeek. And once again, shout out Jordan Walsh. The vision for Kuminga is he's a terror in transition, and you can't ever ignore him in the half court, even if his playmaking is never going to be that great, because he can backdoor cut, He can just drive off the catch. He can make a three. And all that has mostly happened in the first 3 games he played with Atlanta. He was not good in the last one against the Nets. He's missed time with a knee thing. And sure, a good amount of his work in the Blazer game was late, but okay. There's also been the occasional post-up or face-up on like Will Riley or Scoot. And you hope that you can either develop the playmaking enough or put him in sets that make that stuff easier for him. And so there was one play where he screened for Gabe Vincent on the ball, got it in the middle, and then he found Nikhil for an open corner 3. That is good stuff. I mean, so far, unless the knee thing ends up being a real problem, I think you've got to feel optimistic so far as a Hawks fan. I know he didn't do much in the Nets game. We'll just give him more games and let's see. CJ and Kispert were in the trade deal. They're who they are. Atlanta's winning a bunch of games in March. Now for Porzingis. So before we even talk about how it looked on the court, I'm going to guess the Warriors would like to bring Porzingis back next season on a much smaller number. Will that happen? Who knows? I mean, defensively, he's gotten his contests at the rim. We all know blocks are not everything, but 4 blocks in 20 minutes is 4 blocks in 20 minutes against the Bulls. And then offensively, I mean, the efficiency overall with the Warriors has not been great. The 53 true shooting, but with Steph potentially missing the rest of the year and Jimmy obviously missing the rest of the season, I don't think it matters too much. I think it's more so just, do you have enough Porzingis moments, which I think he's had. He's had the quick trigger pick and pop threes. He just had some nice mid-rangers over like Dante, Nas, or Gobert in the Wolves game. The occasional aggressive drive or his signature like face-up jumpers over like Jalen Smith, I think, in the Bulls game a little bit. And then it's just about the stamina and just being as healthy as he can be. Next, let's go to McCain. So he didn't do much in the Celtics game, but in general, it is just crazy how OKC was able to identify that Philly was not using McCain correctly. They get him, and they've had some injuries, but also to see the defending champion be like, hey, we can use you in down screens, and we can use you playing off of like Jalen Williams, Big J Will, at like the top of the key as a hub. You can make shots off of SGA getting doubled, and we could just put you in random little screen actions with Isaiah Joe, and then the ball keeps zipping around or whatever. I don't know if it says more about Philly and Nick Nurse or Daignault at OKC. Next up, Zubats. He's played 2 games. He has not had the real Pacer team around him. Nemhard in both games. Neesmith as well as Obi played in the last one. Ben Shepherd, TJ, a little bit, but not, Siakam hasn't been there. Obviously, no Hallie. We know that. I haven't even seen the Knicks game. I'm just going off of his first one against the Suns. There were 3 plays that summed it all up. 1, he sets a monster screen to open up a Nemhard drive, which becomes an Ethan Thompson 3. Shout out Ethan Thompson. He had an offensive rebound through 3 guys on the Suns, and he hit somebody for a bounce pass. And then the last one was on the same play, he guarded Iguodaro as well as Book on a screen action where he was like higher up, and then he backed up, and then one of them passed, the other one missed. You get it. Shout out to Zoo. These games don't matter right now. Now let's go to Io and the T-Wolves. So the thing with Io is the drives. Like, he definitely drives and attacks off the catch and pushes in transition more than your average role player. At least that's what it feels like. And he had a play in their last one against the Warriors where he like cut at the perfect time as somebody was driving. I forget who it was, and he found Gobert for a dump-off pass. Like, this is beautiful. Threes have been good. Obviously, the extra ball handler. And then defensively, I mean, it's better than Conley at this age, who's just not even playing right now, and the Dillingham experiment. I know he's had a negative net rating his whole career. I kind of just don't care. Like, I know Io's a good basketball player. Not to say he's perfect. I mean, in their recent Wolves loss, or the Lakers loss, he like throws a bad pass that LaRavia steals, then a minute later he fouls Austin Reeves on a 4-point play. But in general, Io's just a solid guy. As far as the Wolves overall, I mean, the last time I talked about the West, I was like, hey, can you guys prove to me that you're really a contender? And then they have some rough losses. And I'm just going to copy what Zach Lowe and John Krasinski were saying on Zach's podcast the other day. Just get back to being an elite defense, and the rest will figure itself out. And we know they can do that. They do have a Randall problem right now, though. Next, let's talk Kobe White and Colin Sexton. Sexton's missed the last 3 games of the Bulls, but up to this point, Sexton has been better than Kobe. I think with Kobe, I think that was looked at as mostly pretty positive for the Hornets. I was fine with it because it's well, I mean, it's 2 guards who can score, but Kobe's more of a off the dribble jump shooter, right? Sexton can make threes, but Kobe's higher volume, all that stuff. But Kobe also just has a different role with the Hornets. He's coming off the bench after being a starter with the Bulls for a long time there. And not that he could do anything he wanted in the Bulls offense, but he had more leeway than he does now with Charlotte. And with all that said, he still had to make his pull-up deep jumpers against the Celtics because everything was going in for them in that Celtics game. And then as far as Sexton, I mean, look, the Bulls are bad, but you can't deny that the floor is spaced out and Sexton has the green light, and it's kind of cooking for him right now. Although he actually did drag them to a win in that Suns game, and they can't have that right now. Luke Kennard's been good. He just had one rough one, but in general, making shots, spacing out the floor, lineup numbers have been great. Lakers having probably their most encouraging stretch of the season with Knicks, Wolves, and Nuggets wins. I think I got to talk about them. Next up, Vooch. He got hurt. I would say the Vooch experience so far, it was fine. He was bad against the Hornets, and then he's been out since. Not really sure he'll be a better option at the backup 5 than Garza when he's healthy again, but we'll see what Joe does. It just feels like Garza plays harder all the time. But for the playoffs, Vooch is more talented. Yeah, you need that. Last one. Here's the deepest cut here. Walter Clayton Jr. and Taylor Hendricks since they ended up on the Grizzlies from the Jaren Jackson trade. Clayton Jr. has not been making shots, but I do think there's been some good playmaking stuff. He had like a double-digit assist game against, I think, the Pacers, where I thought a lot of his assists were just like flow of the game stuff. Not that that's bad, but okay. The Wolves game before that was really the one where he was like taking guys off the dribble repeatedly. There were drives against like Jaden and Io and Randall, and one where he finds Rupert in the corner, and he timed the pass so perfectly for when Dante helped out of the corner for just a quarter of a second. I was like, oh, some real stuff there. And then we go to Taylor Hendricks, where I feel like he started to show some signs of the guy that the nerds were very excited about coming into the NBA. So besides like being able to cover ground and shift defensively some, and I mean the blocks and the steals have been there, and that is obviously important, but that's also what he was known for coming into the NBA. Offensively, so he's been making threes with a form that is a little more unique than maybe the average guy. There's like an extra half second of wind up, or it's like on the side of his head. I don't know, but it goes in. He's had the occasional play where he'll screen on the ball and then make a pass in the middle of the floor, like one dribble in the middle of the floor and into something at the rim. He's getting some offensive rebounds. He's had some drives off the catch. He's looking like he could be just like a well-rounded offensive player. I don't really know what the scoring ceiling is. He's going to have to do it for a longer stretch, of course, but I think there's something there with Hendricks. I think that's it. Have a good one, guys.